Hello, it's Cheryl here from Sense of Whimsy in South Australia. Everyone who knows me knows how much I love mushrooms and toadstools. So when the terrific toadstool stamp set and punch came out in the mini catalogue, I just had to grab it. Now I'm not using the punch today, I am using the Stampin' Up masking paper to do a little bit of grouping of my mushrooms or toadstools. So here you can see they're all stamped in little groups and they all look pretty messy because they're all stamped over the top of one another. But what I've done is I've used the masking paper to stamp and cut the images out of the masking paper and then applied them over the top of the images that I want to be in the foreground, basically. So I've already done all that. Now what I'm going to show you is what this mess looks like when you remove the masking paper. So I'm starting with these small toadstools here, and I'm using a combination of my Take Your Pick tool and some tweezers just to remove this paper. And look how great that looks now with those little mushrooms sitting in front of the foliage and the grass that I added. Moving on to the next grouping. Here I stamped the smaller mushrooms first and then and masked them with the paper, and then stamped the larger mushroom over the top so that the small mushrooms look like they're in the foreground. And then these tiny little toadstools I stamped first up and masked them. So even though I've stamped the foliage over the top now, when I pull the pieces of masking paper off, they will appear to be in the foreground. Now these little bits are proving a little difficult to get off because I did start this project and then got called away and had to leave them sit for a while. So they've sort of attached themselves to the paper. They'll still come off, it just takes a little bit of work. But I will continue to take the little remaining bits off with my Take Your Pick tool, just gently so you're not marking the image. They'll eventually all come off, and these little red toadstools look just amazing in the foreground of the image. Totally loving this. Now doesn't that look fantastic? Refer this one, messy, to this one which is now all neat and tidy with some mushrooms in the background. Doesn't that look great? I also sponged, while I had all the masks on, I've added a little bit of green sponging in the background. That's the background that you can see. And so that also adds some depth to the image. Down here I did stamp the small mushroom, then the larger mushroom, and then the medium-sized mushroom. And then these little tiny toadstools again were stamped first and masked. As you can see, the pieces of paper do look pretty messy because they've had all of the other stamping over the top of them, which normally would have been over the top of the image, and now looks like it's all behind these little toadstools. Now I did make a blunder down the bottom here. You can see that the green earth or ground grass is over the top of one of the toadstool stems. I should have really masked that stem before I stamped the green grassy image in the foreground, and then that would have looked way better, but I'll remember that for next time. So there you go, another great little grouping of toadstools, which they look so good when they're stamped and they appear to be behind one another rather than this big messy conglomeration of stamps all over the top. So again, this one was a simple one. I did the small toadstools and masked them. Then I stamped the smaller mushrooms and masked them. And then I stamped the foliage and the purple little toadstools over the top. So anything you stamp over the top of the mask seems to now be coming from behind the original image. So that's looking pretty good too. And this last one has some of the small toadstools right in the front again. So we'll take those masks off. I love it. I love the big reveal when it all ends up looking so perfect. And those small toadstools are so cute. Then we'll take the medium-sized one off, and then I did the larger mushroom last, so it's appearing behind. These ones I did first, so they should appear to be in front of everything. These little smaller mushrooms in purple and pink. And there you go. Just get rid of that last little remaining bit of masking paper. And now we've got all of these lovely little groupings of mushrooms. They're fabulous, I love them. What do you think? I'm thinking I might go ahead and do a live, maybe not make so many groupings, but I'll do one grouping on a card in a live, and I haven't done one for a while, so we'll attempt to do one in YouTube on Wednesday in Australia. So keep an eye out for a notification. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.